the stock market, meaning companies, new highs.
I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on. They're nuts. They know nothing.
An online network called Internet.
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now. Ooh, welcome, my degenerates. The rest of your life starts right now on Market Mania. This is the no bullshit approach to all financial markets, from Bitcoin, cryptos, darknet, political betting, prediction markets, and of course, right here, the largest casino in the world, the U.S. stock market. I'm your host, Brian Micon, financial genius, Bitcoin class of 2011, and a poker player. Joining me are my fellow degens, Brett Ritchie, and special guest, Roger Ver. Brett is the head of Blitzpick, and Roger Ver needs no introduction, Bitcoin Jesus, as some people like to call him. The whole thing is put together by Tony, the producer, and this is Market Mania. Oh yeah, baby, special crypto edition. Tony, let's get right into it. Crazy day in the markets. Roger Ver, special guest. Antigua just invited you in. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've been here in Antigua for quite a few months now. Was with the Prime Minister and the entire Cabinet Assembly yesterday, explaining cryptocurrencies to them, and they're eager for me to have a large stake in a local bank here. So I'm working on that, and wouldn't it be nice to have not only a bank that's crypto friendly, but a bank that's owned by people that live, eat, breathe, live, and sleep crypto. And so that's what we have going on here in Antigua. I think Antigua is well on its way to being one of the world destinations in regards to cryptocurrency adoption here. So I'm really, really excited about the fantastic things that are happening here in Antigua.
Brett Ritchie, Roger Ver is going to invest in a bank here in the middle of the Caribbean. What do you think? Is it time to come out and start crypto Silicon Valley right here?
So I love it, and I plan to come down this winter and check it out. I did an ICO, and one of the biggest challenges we ran into was banking and just traditional startup things that a normal startup could get access to were really challenging for a business in crypto to get access to. A lot of it was they didn't understand, they didn't want to deal with it, or you needed to have like a certain 10 million or more for them to deal with you because they had it as a higher risk profile. So for me, that's really exciting. If you have a crypto friendly bank owned by crypto people, that's a good thing for the whole space.
Roger, we don't want to give away too much here, but can you tell us a little bit about what that will entail? What can we expect from Roger Ver bank ownership?
Yeah, we can't guarantee it yet because the deal's not done. So far I've been invited to make the investment. And so being invited to and actually doing it are two very different things, but it's my intent to follow through with it. One thing we have announced totally publicly and is already happening is I've ordered 1,000 laptops to give to school kids here in Antigua. And every one of those school kids are going to get some Bitcoin Cash to go along with it as well. And so that's really going to help make the whole country more tech literate and more aware of the whole cryptocurrency space here as well. So, and I'd have to do some calculations, but I think we may already be one of the top cryptocurrency accepting countries in the world in terms of shops accepting per capita, because Antigua is a very small country, but we already have quite a few businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash already. And if you want to become a citizen here just like me, head on over to antiguahelp.com. You can become a citizen here and pay for the whole thing in Bitcoin Cash as well. That's antiguahelp.com, and you can join me in this wonderful Caribbean island paradise.
What a pleasure it is to bring economic freedom to the world, starting right here on the island nation of Antigua. Which brings us to our next topic. This was a cool story from a couple weeks ago. You know it was going to be a BCH heavy program with Roger on. This was a growth hacker, as they said. He hid a bunch of gifts.bitcoin.com, which is essentially just a private key you can sweep and just take it for yourself if you find it. He made a bunch of these. And I guess, Roger, I know you know a little bit more about this than I do. What did he do here? He started hiding them around a city? I don't even know which city.
Yeah, I'm not behind it, and I had nothing to do with it other than I'm aware of it. And now that it's happening, I've been in touch with Bitcoin Man Bakersfield, I think is the Instagram ID there. And really, really amazing. If you haven't watched the clips of the videos that people are sending him, and he's, I don't know what they call it on Instagram. It's like a retweet, but for Instagram. It's amazing how exciting these people are. And then even the ones that don't find the stickers, he's sending them some Bitcoin Cash there. So it's really, really an amazing job and thing that's happening down there in Bakersfield. So shout out to Bitcoin Man Bakersfield on Instagram. If you're not following him already, make sure you follow that. And a little bit more about the story. He was originally a Bitcoin user, and then the fees became high. You can't do this type of giveaway on Bitcoin any longer, whereas Bitcoin Cash or any blockchain where the blocks aren't full still works for this sort of thing. So if you are a fan of any of those cryptocurrencies, go and fork Bitcoin.com's gifts.bitcoin.com. You can make it work for any blockchain that doesn't have high on-chain fees and give away, Halloween's coming up. It's later this month. Be ready to give all your trick-or-treaters some Bitcoin Cash over at gifts.bitcoin.com. And the cool part about it is if they don't claim it, you get the Bitcoin Cash back automatically. So gifts.bitcoin.com.
This is a cool thing. I have played with this. We used to do a very similar thing in 2012-ish. I was giving out Bitcoin to anybody that would take it. Tony, if we could scroll down there, just give a little scroll on that thing. That's all right. That's good. This is a gifts page. You can just shoot them out pretty easily. Brett Ritchie, you remember kind of when I was run around like a madman, throw out, Bitcoin at the time. Because you could do this. This is cool. Do you see that? Do you see what's on the screen there? That was cool. The gentleman printed up a bunch of these and just kind of plastered them everywhere. And then if you were the first one to walk by that, you could just scoop 100 in BCH right there. What do you think, Crunk?
Yeah, and today would be 106 because we're up.
It's like a treasure hunt, puzzles, it's giveaways, it's crypto, it's Bakersfield, which I actually think is a pretty cool city. So thumbs up.
You're one of the
board
few
for that.
So now this is the biggest crypto and stock news of the day. It has to be Square. Following in MicroStrategy's footsteps, Square, from a treasury management standpoint, just sailed in 50 million into Bitcoin. This looks like 4,700 of them shits is. And it's just a simple fact of they're like, all right, our cash evaporates at 2% per year, possibly faster now that the Fed printed up trillions and trillions this year. Roger Ver, I know you didn't miss the MicroStrategy buy. I know you didn't miss this Square buy. What do you think?
I think they're missing the big picture because if you have two assets that are both equally scarce, but one works for payments and the other doesn't, it's the one that works for payments is going to be more popular in the long run. And we already saw in the United States, all the people that held gold because they thought gold was good money, the U.S. government came in and seized it all. If all these people are busy holding Bitcoin using custodial accounts because the on-chain fees are too high, don't think that the U.S. government or some other government is going to come in and scoop up all the Bitcoin. So I think Jack Dorsey and Square, I think they're missing the big picture with a blockchain limited to 1 megabyte there. That's going to look just as silly as the quote from Bill Gates saying, who would ever need more than 640K of RAM? Bill Gates is a smart guy, but he was off on how much RAM people would need. And there's lots of smart people involved in Bitcoin, but they're totally off on the amount of block space that should be produced on that chain.
Can't ignore the market cap, though. You got to sail in 50 million here. You got 150 Bs or so in the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Cash, that might move it. That might double the price if you tried to sail in that amount.
I don't know. I bought a couple $1 million worth of Bitcoin Cash last month. So I think there's lots of liquidity out there. And for people that aren't aware of it, go and look into buying or selling options. If you're looking to take a position in one of these currencies like Bitcoin Cash, you can sell what's called a put option. And basically all that happens is you wind up buying the Bitcoin Cash at below the current market, or you get some free money. Either option is a pretty darn good option. So there's lots of companies out there that can help you with that. QCP is a fantastic one, but there's other ones out there as well.
Brett Ritchie, Square sails in 50 million into Bitcoin. What do you think about that move?
I mean, to me, it's good, right? It's good for the whole space, whether you're a Bitcoin Cash believer, Bitcoin, or some of the Ethereum stuff, or whatever else. Overall, it's a good thing. Personally, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the block size debate that Roger is talking about. I would leave that to, the people whose job it is to understand that. For me, I think it's just a good thing overall. So I'm happy to see it.
And Roger,
I agree with Brett. It is a great thing for the whole ecosystem. Totally agree with
Roger,
that.
I argue this one passionately and possibly over dinner this evening. Square, the second company. Roger, did you catch MicroStrategy doing the same thing in essence? They don't want their cash pile to essentially evaporate every year?
I didn't see that. Yeah, and luckily it's super easy to convert from one cryptocurrency to another, which probably brings us to ETH at some point here as well.
Never stop shilling, ladies and gentlemen. You want to get to where Roger sits right now? Never stop shilling what you believe in. All right. On to a sadder story, the one that I will remove the hat and put it on the heart for. BitMEX, the exchange operator, they shuffled the leadership because of the criminal charges against Arthur and the other two people that I guess are principals that I don't know, because all I see is Arthur on the social media. He's the king. He's the one that personally liquidates you. BitMEX, exchange operator, shuffles leadership, business as usual. Roger Ver, this one rocked the crypto world a couple days ago. What do you make of the latest overarching U.S. move against a crypto operator?
Welcome to Antigua. We are open for business. If you have a crypto business, come on, head down to Antigua. It's really a shame the way the U.S. treats their very best entrepreneurs. The U.S. is probably one of the most dangerous places in the world to do business. And I feel bad for Arthur having been an American, even though he wasn't living in America. So if you have a crypto business and you're looking for a jurisdiction that's friendly to what you're up to, a jurisdiction that's likely to have a crypto-friendly bank owned by somebody in cryptocurrency deeply, head on over to Antigua. And if you need a lawyer to help set all of that up for you, you can pay the lawyer in Bitcoin Cash as well. Head on over to AntiguaHelp.com. We have everything you need here in Antigua. And my advice to the U.S., leave these entrepreneurs alone, right? My God, BitMEX is one of the biggest success stories in all of cryptocurrency, and Arthur Hayes is one of the most successful entrepreneurs in all of cryptocurrency. And there's lots of choices out there. If the users don't like BitMEX, they can go use something else. And to me, it smacks of cronyism. It looks like they got rid of BitMEX, and then now everybody goes and has to use the legacy things like CME and Bakkt and these other legacy players instead of BitMEX. So there it is. I see it on the screen. AntiguaHelp.com. You can set up your company, you can get citizenship, you can do everything, and you can pay for it all in Bitcoin Cash right there at AntiguaHelp.com. And the lawyer that will help you with that is literally the former Attorney General for the entire nation state of Antigua. So you're going to be dealing with one of the very best lawyers in the whole country for all of that. So go ahead and check that out as well. And tell him I sent you, Roger Ver.
Tell him Roger Ver sent you. BitMEX, it has continued to operate, which you got to love due to the nature of cryptocurrency. There was no bank account to seize. However, BitMEX held its crypto very famously in the BMEX addresses that they generated, those little vanity addresses, that they still control it. So the U.S. was not, while they were able to issue the indictments, they were not able to seize any money. Now, Brett Ritchie, there are scam exchanges out there, like Hit BTC and a few other ones. But now BitMEX has been largely, liquid and always paid on time. Yet the U.S. went after these guys, which are operating something relatively ethical. What do you think?
They want their cut, man. That's the same story. I agree with everything Roger said. The U.S. government always wants their cut. Right? If you're an American 10 years ago and you start a business somewhere else, they still come and want their cut. And so they weren't paying U.S. tax, right? Because it wasn't in the U.S. And that's why they get mad. We saw it with online poker. I mean, we've seen this story countless times. The U.S. government, in my opinion, really oversteps their reach. They think they rule the world a lot of times and are entitled to like a piece of every pie out there. So it's a sad story, right? I mean, we support these guys, great entrepreneurs, great business that really people like using it.
They love.
And I'll remind everybody here in Antigua, no personal income tax, no personal capital gains tax, no corporate capital gains tax. It's really, really incredible. So check out Antigua if you haven't already.
And it is a great country. I'll +1 that. And it's not going to save you from the DeFi crash, though. Our next topic, this DeFi crash has been in the news. A lot of people, you may have heard on Market Mania, we were talking about Uniswap topping $2 billion in liquidity. And it looked like for a couple of days back there, they did more transaction volume than Coinbase. So just an ETH smart contract set up obviously incredibly beautifully to give a percentage of the fee to the people providing the liquidity, and people want to use it anonymously. They don't want to scan their KYC information to do a trade. That's just not what people want to do. So that was huge over the last couple of weeks. There was sushi. They copied Uniswap and made a sushi swap, and then there was different tokens, and then now the Uni token came in. But Brett Ritchie, everything's taken a dump recently.
Yeah, I mean, it was unsustainable, right? We covered it on the show. It was like 30,000% APYs and things like that. And obviously, like if someone is showing interest rates that are too good to be true, there's a reason for that. There's a catch, right? There's no just magic recipe that's going to create yield out of thin air. There's somebody on the other side of this yield that's being generated. And essentially the new buyers quit coming into the space and the music really quickly stopped. That doesn't mean that the whole DeFi story in the long run is over, but this really quick run up is. But Uniswap's still doing plenty of volume.
Roger Ver, you have to have seen this on your radar. What do you make of the DeFi craze and of the recent dump in price?
Yeah, I think the recent dump in price, how many times have I heard, oh, Bitcoin, the price crashed. Well, look what it crashed in maybe in the last 24 hours, but look at what it's done in the last 24 days or 24 months, right? DeFi clearly is a big part of the future of finance. And if you take any little tiny short snippet of time, it's up a zillion percent, it's down a zillion percent. Look at the big picture. This is incredible, right? And I've been loving following Hayden Adams on Twitter, the inventor of Uniswap, since earlier today, and all these salty Bitcoin maximalists that are super jealous of Uniswap and DeFi. He's just out there slaying them right and left on Twitter. So if you're not following Hayden Adams on Twitter already, the inventor of Uniswap, go and follow him on Twitter. It's really fun to see all these dinosaurs that just think that Bitcoin is the end all be all of cryptocurrencies. It really isn't. There's thousands of them out there, and they can all do amazing, interesting things. And of course, Ethereum is one of the most amazing and most interesting ones with these decentralized exchanges and decentralized financial tools coming available. So more power to DeFi and Uniswap and all this.
Vitalik tried to build this into Bitcoin back in the day. A lot of people don't remember some of those early discussions and what they've spawned since then. But originally, it was all supposed to be on one chain. It was supposed to do smart contracts like ETH right on Bitcoin, colored coins back in the day. But then everybody would tell you it crashed. It's below 10,000. It crashed to 10,000. Imagine in 2011 thinking about the crash down to 10,000. Amazing where we've come. Moving along, the VP debates. I fell asleep actually halfway through last night. I meant to watch it and I fell asleep. Eventually, I loved the presidential debate where there was two vampires screaming and interrupting each other. That was entertaining for me. Edge of my seat the whole time. The VP debates, Brett Ritchie, what happened to the odds? Did it even move? I was literally asleep. I had to, my wife had to tell me about the fly on Pence's hair in the morning.
Yeah,
So,
Pence went up like 1 cent or so during the debates, and then it seems to have come back down after. VP debates rarely move the needle. I don't think this one did either. Interestingly enough, these are the two VPs that are probably more likely to actually become president during the next 4 years than in a normal election year with younger candidates. But yeah, it's 2-1 Biden, and it's kind of holding there, it seems, until some other news comes out. Do you follow this at all, Roger, the U.S. election?
As a proud non-American, I'm proud to say I don't follow it too terribly closely any longer. And it's a really, really wonderful, liberating feeling not to have to follow it very closely at all.
that is probably the most sane take on it that we're going to get here on Market Mania, the full ignoring. There's a lovely girl named Clover out in Montserrat that just says, you can take it or leave it. I was like, oh, did you see the Trump thing? And she's like, oh, you just take it or leave it. I've been leaving it for 20 years. She hasn't looked at this shit in 20 years. Seems like relatively happy. Grows some vegetables in her backyard, and runs an Airbnb kind of thing. Anyway, so that is going to bring us to one of the most exciting times in the Market Mania. This is how we do it. We do a Mr. Rogers-like wardrobe change. The not investment advice hat is going on. So are the safety glasses. It's time for the Market Mania pick of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Special crypto edition with Roger Beer, locked and loaded here. All right, Brett Ritchie, let's get right to it. You lead us off with your pick of the day.
All right, I'm going with Uniswap. We covered it just previously on the show. It is at $3.31 now. This thing has hit over $8 in the last month. Again, like in a gold rush, you want to be selling picks and shovels, and whether DeFi is now maybe only a silver rush or something, it's still going to be valuable being that provider. Whether the coins are going up or down, people are going to be trading them, and that trading is happening on Uniswap. So I'm buying it.
All right, over to Roger Ver, special guest today, Crypto Edition. What, Roger, is your pick of the day?
Well, I know what everybody thinks I'm going to pick, but I'm not today. So I'm actually going to pick Monero. I've been a long-time Monero holder since it was about $1 each. And with all the recent news of the IRS, hiring outside firms to try and crack the Monero privacy and this sort of thing, and governments all around the world being bankrupt and on the verge of, printing more money like crazy, they're going to want to take people's money. But if you can have a cryptocurrency there that has really, really private on-chain transactions where there's no rich list for Monero, you can't see the top 50 addresses holding the most Monero. Nobody knows, right? For all we know, it could be all three of us on this show. Nobody knows. So I've been a big fan of Monero for a long time, and I'll continue to be a big fan of Monero. And we've really seen it performing well recently, and I think it'll continue to perform well into the future because of its strong fungibility and the great aspects that it has there that make it useful money. And the fees on Monero are cheaper than Ethereum or Bitcoin right now as well. So check out Monero if you're not aware of it already.
A lot of us back in the day thought that Bitcoin did what Monero does. We thought it was like totally, before you start reading a little bit about it, you thought that it was that. It was just the send it to anybody. Of course, don't make any public records of it. But anyway, I am going to then once again also surprise you guys with my pick of the day is going to be Bitcoin Cash. You guys didn't see that coming here. You got to be on your toes if you watch Market Mania. Bitcoin Cash is my pick of the day. Guys like Roger, myself, others are involved. We're going to try to bring economic freedom to a small Caribbean island nation and then as an example to the world using mostly Bitcoin Cash. So might as well sail it in, get your little, this is not investment advice, of course. And that is my pick of the day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope degens across the world. I hope you've enjoyed our little show today, special crypto edition with Roger Ver. And for such a special crypto edition, I like to end with a quote from a Whitey Cracker song, Bitcoin Baron. Long gone. Sorry, I'm going to start again. Try to freeze my assets. Long gone is the cash in the mattress. Now all tied up in hashes, wrapped up in encrypted batches. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on the Twitter there. And we'll see you tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow. But for now, it's lights out.
I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Time to right the wrong. So your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold, never domino, out of control. The usual, get mad cause I'm looking at your girl. Switch it up. I do it so much louder than everything you've heard. Everybody heard at the word that the world wasn't turning. Act like you're in a jury, power of attorney, wow, we're turning. Can't lie like Mississippi burning. Don't act like you're in a daze. I imagine it look the other way. Couldn't clear space on my mind, was afraid of the time. Strobe lights like in the moonlight. I'm in the mood right now, how about tonight? My interview's tight now, I was